From the previous season, there's only a couple things that I strongly recommend. You have to absolutely watch Showa Genroku Rakugo Shinju. Well, that it was the second season of it, so you gotta watch the first season if you haven't. It's finished now. I don't think there's gonna be any more seasons after this, and it was really excellent. I gushed about it a lot after the first season, and all that gushing holds up through the second season. It's just a beautiful, amazing show, and you should definitely watch it. I can also recommend Aka 13, not as strongly as Showa, but it's really stylish and comfy. Yeah, that's a meme word, but comfy is definitely what I feel while watching this. There's a plot in there about it's sort of like a conspiracy coup d'etat going on, but I mean it's not that important. It doesn't really fit with the tone, the plot, which is one of the things that I guess could go against it. It's not terrible, but it's not really like you can see everything coming from a mile away. I just enjoyed how stylish it was. Another show that was stylish was Scum's Wish, but it was. I mean, I guess it's worth watching because it's one of the few josei shows that you'll ever see. But I mean, even as a josei, it's not that great. I mean, it's got some cool effects like doing manga style paneling, but I mean, it's very shoujo. Like it's a really typical shoujo romance with lots of like romance geometry, love geometry. What makes it a josei instead of a shoujo is that like most of the characters are sluts, and so it's slut geometry. Yeah, only watch that I suppose if you're really interested in crying sex. that's what you get out of a josei. The Silver Guardian by Howliners Animation League. It's a web manhwa adaptation. Shuyin is a master of gaming, a skill only known to his classmate Lian. One day, Shuyin receives a device from Lian for a tomb raiding online game, which Shuyin is excited to receive the device. Lian is suddenly kidnapped. Shuyin touches the device that was left behind, pulling him inside the game and trapping him there. What is the imaginary world inside the device? What will Shuin find there? It is a world where two groups of people fight over the power of the gods, which originates from the tomb of the mother goddess Pangu. The two groups are the Tomb Raiders and the Tomb Protectors. The device Shuin received from Lian is called the Monolith, and it allows a normal gamer to go near the tomb. The tomb raiding group plans its attack by recruiting common people in the name of gaming. Shuin, as the final tomb protector, must fight against the raiders in order to save Lian. So just your good old going into a video game world fantasy meta. Let's see, we got the second season of Attack on Titan. Cool. Duel Masters 2017. They're bringing back Duel Masters. I saw like maybe a few episodes of Duel Masters when it was given like a comedy dub, which was better than the original series, which is just a generic Yu-Gi-Oh style show. Sugu Momo by Zero G. It's a manga adaptation. Kazuya Kagami's most treasured possession in the world is the obi left to him by his late mother. The scent of cherry blossoms infused into it helps him through his day, but he never expected it to save his life. Becoming a beautiful kimono-clad girl who calls herself an artifact spirit, her name is Kiriha Tsukumagami of the Sash, who naturally moves in with him as he is her owner. Throw in Chisato, his bespectacled friend, an overprotective older sister who wants to take baths with him, a busty priestess, a seductive sorceress named Kokuyura, and Kazuya's life has just gotten a lot more interesting. I don't have anything to say. I've really been desensitized. Alice and Zoroku by J.C. Staff. It's a manga adaptation. A group of young girls possesses a mysterious power known as Alice's Dream, which gives them the ability to turn their thoughts into reality. Detained and experimented upon, these youths are locked away in secret until one of them manages to escape. Her name is Sana, a girl with the power to ignore the very laws of physics. When this willful powerhouse crosses paths with a stubborn old man named Zoroku, his carefully ordered life will never be the same again! Exclamation mark. That's a pretty cool power, to turn your thoughts into reality. I kind of want to watch that just to see how they do that, what their take is on a superpower like that. On a lustful night mingling with a priest, ellipsis, by Seven. It's a manga adaptation. The story begins when a woman reunites with her first love at a class reunion. She discovers that Kujo has taken over his family's temple as a priest. The woman thought that priests did not have romantic relationships, but a passion ignites between the two. She wonders if what she and the priest do is really right. So that seems like a josei. So maybe I was wrong in suggesting going for a subpar josei. Maybe it's going to be a common thing now. Akindo Sei no Little Peso by Fanworks. It's a game adaptation. The planet of Akindo is the best planet in the universe at earning money. Prince Peso, the planet's ruler, lives a bum's life of playing smartphone games every day, always concentrating on paying microtransactions. One day, the king demands that all the money in the universe be brought to him, and Peso and his lackeys are cast out. Now Peso travels the universe meeting aliens and fighting them in business battles. Hold on. Hold the phone. Okay, there's a lot to unpack there. So there's a planet that's like the best planet in the universe at earning money. The prince of that planet is the biggest loser there because he just plays shitty mobile games all day. And he's like a huge whale that gives them tons of money for hats on his Angry Birds or whatever the fuck you pay for in microtransactions. I don't think they're gonna make that much money on that planet anymore if they don't have a huge whale like their prince. I mean, that's how economics work. So they cast him out and he's gonna do business I want to know what business battles are because that sounds interesting. Laughing Salesman New by Shinei Animation. It's a manga adaptation. Each episode follows Fukuzo Meguro, a traveling salesman, and his current customer. Meguro deals in things that give his customers their heart's desire, and once his deals are made and their unhealthy desires are satisfied, Meguro's customers are often left with terrible repercussions, especially if they break the rules of his deals, ellipsis. This sounds and looks pretty cool. He's basically a monkey paw. I'm just interested to see it just to see how many good monkey paw type things they can come up with, because those are always fun. Frame Arms Girl by Studio A-Cat. The story begins when Ao opens a package that arrives at her doorstep. Inside the package is Gorai, a frame arms girl, a small robot capable of independent movement. Gorai is a newly developed prototype, a frame arms girl equipped with an artificial self, an advanced AI that gives her a personality. Ao is the only one that has activated her. Gorai begins to gather both battle, data, and emotions, starting a day-to-day life with Ao, who knows nothing about frame arm girls. That's gonna have a lot of doujins made about it. Akashic Records of Bastard Magic Instructor. That's a shitty translation, I think. There's no way the title is that shitty. By Linden Films, it's a light novel adaptation. A twisted heroic fantasy featuring a magic teacher who hates magic! Exclamation mark. The story takes place in a world where magic and science have evolved side by side. The Aizono Imperial Magic Academy is located in the southern part of the Alzano Empire, one of the major magical powers, and it is among most prominent magic schools in the world where students can learn the highest forms of magic. All those who strive to learn magic dream of studying at the academy, and its students as well as its teachers are proud to be a part of its 400-year history. Glenn Radars is a new instructor. Glenn Radars. That's a guy from MASH, right? Glenn Radars is a new instructor who has suddenly been appointed to teach part-time at this highly respected academy. He begins by telling his students, "I'll teach you all what real magic is." The previously unheard of lessons of this man, known as a good-for-nothing bastard, are about to begin. "Don't lose!" Evil Corpse! By Tatsunoko. It's a 4-koma manga adaptation. The Evil Corps, led by Dawn, are on a mission to conquer the universe. They set out to invade Earth first, but they struggle as some quirky Earthlings stand in their way. Eventually, Dawn's plan to invade Earth becomes distorted? This wacky slice-of-life sci-fi comedy stars... Wait, did you say a wacky slice-of-life sci-fi comedy? Slice-of-life comedy, action comedy, slice-of-life? Stars this team of aliens you just can't hate, and lots of unique Earthlings! Love Kome, We Love Rice by Encourage Films. It's an original. The Harvest Show is a concert where all the different grains show off their beauty to everyone watching. And Harvest Stars is the name given to the grains who put on the best performances. Okay, so this must be about rice doing idol performances. That makes sense. In this modern age of rice acreage reduction policies and westernization of eating habits, bread has become the most popular grain in Japan, and dinner tables are dominated by Yeast King, the bread harvest stars. But 5 new rice students have enrolled at Kokuritsu Inaho Academy, a school on the verge of shutting down, and they form a new group called Love Rice that's practicing to beat Yeast King at the Harvest Show and win back the popularity Rice once had. This heartfelt comedy featuring anthropomorphized grains is full of laughter and passion! 2 grains aren't needed at the dinner table, so which will become the true harvest star? That's you're really concerned about stupid things, Japan. Who cares? Is rice really that important to your national identity that you don't like that bread is becoming more popular? I mean, it's not like you invented rice or anything. Just chill out. Armed Girls Machiavellism by Silverlink. It's a manga adaptation. The private Aichi Symbiosis Academy was originally a high school for high-class girls when it became co-ed. The girls, out of fear, asked to be permitted to bring weapons to school. When that was enforced, a 5-member vigilante corpse-like organization called the Supreme Five Swords was also formed. After many generations, the Five Swords eventually became a group which corrected problematic students, and the academy started proactively accepting such students in order to correct them. Nomura Fudo was sent to the school after being part of a huge brawl. What will he do when the only options he has after enrolling are being expelled from that school or being corrected the way the rest of the male students there were, by being forced to dress and act like a girl? Oh, that's where you were going. Yeah, another show about a gender reversal with violent feminists. Awesome. Sakurada Reset by David Production. It's a light novel adaptation. Nearly half of the population of Sakurada, a small town near the Pacific Ocean, has some sort of unique power. These powers range from being able to enter the mind of a cat to resetting the world back to a certain point in time in the past. That's a really huge contrast in the power levels of those powers. You can enter the mind of a cat, an absolutely useless piece of shit power, because cats don't have anything going on in their mind at all except hatred. Or you can reset the world back in time. You could beat the Flash and Superman with that power versus going into the mind of a fucking cat. There is a group known as the Kenri-kyoku that controls and monitors the use of these powers. Asai Kei and Haruki Misora work for their school's club called Hoshi Club, which execute any missions received from the Kenri-kyoku. Misora has the ability to reset the world back 3 days. This means that all events and any memory of the past 3 days that could have happened never happened. Yeah, that's way too powerful. Kei has the ability to remember the past, even after Misora uses her powers to reset the world back 3 days. Kei will retain those 3 days in his memory. Combining their powers, these two solve missions issued by the Kenri-kyoku. Sakura Quest by PA Works. It's an original. 5 young women have one thing in common. The careers they planned for themselves weren't working out. Job dissatisfaction, trying to make ends meet, and personal insecurities lead each of them to start working at a local tourism bureau where their lives become intertwined. As the girls experience their first year on the job, they learn a lot about their town, their industry, and themselves. Well, that sounds sweet. That sounds sweet. There's nothing quite like the sweetness of wages quitting their jobs and getting slightly better jobs, but still being slaves. Clockwork Planet by Zebek. It's a light novel adaptation. Earth died 1,000 years ago. Well, okay then. And a legendary clockmaker known as Y rebuilt it using clockwork. Naoto Miura, a failing high school student, encounters Ryuzu, an automaton that Y left behind, and the genius clockmaker Marie. When the abilities of these three come together, the gears of fate begin to turn. The cycle of failure and success repeats endlessly as the three of them work to repair the endangered clockwork planet in this clockpunk fantasy! You can't just invent your own punk. Is clockpunk a thing? I don't think clockpunk is a thing. If it's not a thing, you can't just make it a thing by saying it's a thing. Kabuki Boo! By Studio Dean. It's a light novel adaptation. Kurogo is a young boy who loves kabuki, a traditional Japanese performing arts. When he enters high school, he finds out that there is no kabuki performing club. Kurogo and his best friend Tombo decide to form a kabuki club by themselves. Will they be able to find others who want to join and perform in front of an audience? Yeah, so Studio Dean made the Showa Genroku Rakugo, which is about performing rakugo, a traditional Japanese performance art, and now they're doing a show about kabuki, a traditional Japanese performance art. Hopefully this will be as good as the rakugo one. Love Tyrant by EMT Squared. It's a manga adaptation. A Kiss Note is a powerful notebook that makes anyone who has their name written together will instantly fall in love if they kiss each other, regardless of any circumstances. This magical and very familiar item belongs to an angel named Guri, whose job as Cupid is to create couples. However, she accidentally writes down, "I know Seiji, a regular high school student, and unless he kisses someone, Guri will die." She convinces Seiji to go kiss his crush, Hiyama Akane, the school's popular girl who turns out has even stronger feelings for him, bordering on obsessive and psychotic. Eventually, Akane and Seiji come together, but not before Guri decides that she likes Seiji as well. What seems awesome to most guys becomes hell for Seiji, who just wants a normal relationship with girls. I have no idea what happened at the end there, where it just became a relationship drama, love geometry, gag comedy. But the idea of making a Death Note into a Kiss Note is the way it should have always been. I would not be surprised if this is based on a Death Note doujin, because certainly someone thought that if you're going to make people do things before they die, that you better make a doujin about that. And I guarantee that this is a better Death Note spinoff than whatever the fucking Netflix American Death Note is gonna be. Hinako Note by Passion, a 4-koma manga adaptation. Hinako lives in the countryside and is poor at speaking. I feel ya. She wants to improve her speech to be able to talk to people fluently, so she moves to Tokyo and plans to join the drama club in high school, When she arrives, however, it turns out her boarding house is a secondhand bookstore, and a beautiful girl who eats books lives there. Who eats books? Alright, this might actually be about eating books, but this is probably just a really poor translate. Hinako probably wrote this synopsis, and she meant that the person reads a lot of books, but wrote it as eats books, because she's poor at communicating. There's No Cure for My Brother Being Around Me! By Fanworks. It's a web manhwa adaptation. What's your brother like? To Meow, her brother Fen is someone who would tease her and make her explode 100 times a day. Not a peaceful day, as the two are fighting every single minute. However, when troubles come, Fen will become a caring, loving brother who protects his little sister at all costs. Cool. Berserk has a second season. How did Berserk get a second season? It doesn't make any sense. What moron bankrolled the second season? Alright, whatever. Kato, The Right Answer by Toei Animation. It's an original. Kojiro Shindo, Cabinet Office Director General for Policy Planning, is at Haneda Airport for a business trip. While the plane is on the runway, a giant structure suddenly appears out of thin air. The plane carrying Shindo and 251 passengers is taken undamaged inside the giant structure. After everyone disembarks, a man who looks like an ordinary human being shows up. He assures those on the plane that they're not in any danger. Shindo asks him to identify himself and explain the situation. Then the outside of the structure is displayed on a large screen, and at the same time, every passenger's cell phone starts ringing all at once. On each cell phone screen is a message from this man to every one of Japan's citizens. I, Yaha Kuiza Shunina, hereby notify you that I am going to intervene in Japan's internal affairs. What is this young man's goal, and will Shindo manage to become an intermediary between Japan and the Anisotorons? I assume this will look god-awful because it's a Toei animation, but the plot sounds interesting at least. A plane being hijacked by aliens, that's a thing. Rage of Bahamut, Virgin Soul by Mappa, card game adaptation. Story takes place 10 years after the world escaped destruction due to the revival of Bahamut. Humans at the royal capital gather wealth, the demons are enslaved to assist with the capital's revival, and the gods lose their power due to a decrease in religious piety. The world is thrown off balance as humans, gods, and demons hold their own ideas of justice. Those are some shitty demons if they can just be enslaved by humans. Are they even trying? Guanji Gaosho by GC May Animation and Film. In the multiplayer online game Glory, Yi Zhu is regarded as a textbook and a top-tier pro player. However, due to a myriad of reasons, he is kicked from the team. After leaving the pro scene, he finds work in an internet cafe as a manager. When Glory launches his 10th server, he throws himself into the game once more, possessing 10 years of experience and the memories of his past and an incomplete self-made weapon. His return along the road to the summit begins! So is this an anime about a guy playing a video game, trying to be like a pro esports player, which would possibly make this the first esports anime? I wonder if they'll do this like a sports anime. That could be interesting. Recreators by Troika. It's an original. Humans have created many stories: joy, sadness, anger, deep emotion. Stories shake our emotions and fascinate us. However, these are only the thoughts of bystanders. But what if the characters in the story have intentions? To them, are we godlike existences for bringing their story into the world? Our world is changed. Mete out punishment upon the realm of the gods. In Recreators, everyone becomes a creator. You what now? Some sort of metafiction, telling stories about characters in a story, being changed by writers of the story, of the characters in the story, creating the story about writer. Eromanga-sensei by A1 Pictures. It's a light novel adaptation. The new sibling romantic comedy revolves around Masamune Izumi, a light novel author in high school. Masamune's little sister is Sagiri, a shut-in girl who hasn't left her room for an entire year. She even forces her brother to make and bring her meals when she stomps the floor. Masamune wants his sister to leave her room because the two of them are each other's only family. Masamune's novel illustrator pen name, Eromanga, draws extremely perverted drawings and is very reliable. Masamune had never met his illustrator and figured he was just a disgusting perverted otaku. However, the truth is revealed, that his Eromanga-sensei is his own younger sister, ! To add to the chaos that erupts between the siblings, a beautiful female best-selling shoujo manga creator becomes their rival! So this basically ticks all the boxes of just mashing up all the bullshit light novel things. Uchiten Kazuko 2, that'll be good. I can't remember how long ago that was now, but Uchiten Kazuko is that anime about a family of Tanuki and rival Tanuki and stuff. It's a really fun anime. I enjoyed it a lot. So I can't wait to see the second season. ID Zero by Sanzigen. It's an original. Eye machines are the general term for robots that operate in extreme environments. While Alliance Academy student Maya Mikuri is in the middle of operating an eye machine, she gets involved in an incident with pirates and ends up serving as a crew member on an excavation company's spaceship. And that's the whole plot. Grimoire of Zero by White Fox. It's a light novel adaptation. Year 526 of the liturgical calendar. The world knew that witches existed and that they practiced the notorious art of sorcery. Nevertheless, the world did not know anything about the study of magic. Our story follows a half-man, half-beast mercenary. Humans mockingly call his kind the fallen beasts. He always dreamt of becoming a human, but one day he met a witch who would change his life forever. Do you desire a human form? Then be my escort, mercenary. The witch introduced herself as Zero and explained that she was searching for a one-of-a-kind magical tome that bandits had stolen from her lair, entitled the Book of Zero. The grimoire supposedly contained valuable magical knowledge that could be used to effortlessly bring the world to its knees. Thus, in order to realize his dream of becoming a human, the mercenary must accompany Zero on her journey, despite her being one of the witches he so loathed. This is the story of a haughty sorceress and a kind-hearted beast, but is ultimately some furry bullshit. I'm gonna get tired just from reading the title. World End. What do you do at the end of the world? ? Are you busy? ? Will you save us? ? By C2C. It's a light novel adaptation. 500 years have passed since the humans went extinct at the hands of the fearsome and mysterious beasts. The surviving races now make their homes on the floating islands in the sky, out of reach of all but the most mobile of beasts. Only a small group of young girls, the leprechauns, the leprechauns, we're little lolly leprechauns, can wield the ancient weapons needed to fend off invasions from these creatures. Into the girls' unstable and fleeting lives, where a call to certain death could come at any moment, enter an unlikely character, a young man who has lost everything in his final battle 500 years ago, the last living human awakened from a long icy slumber. Unable to fight any longer, Willem becomes the father that the girls never had, caring for and nurturing them even as he struggles to come to terms with his new life, in which he feels the pain of helplessly waiting for his loved ones to return home from battle that his daughter once felt for him so long ago. Together, Willem and the girls gradually come to understand what family means and what is truly worth protecting. I can't get past the girls or leprechauns. The Snack World by OLM. It's a mixed media project in a certain era on a certain continent, but all things are happening. The construction of large-scale leisure facilities has demanded that all the villages are to be evicted. When these demands are denied, the village and its residents are obliterated. A boy named Chap once lived in tranquility, but that happiness soon came crumbling down, literally, because they obliterated them. They're dead now. Everyone you've known is dead because leisure facilities. He decides to embark on a journey of revenge, but soon falls madly in love with the king's daughter, Princess Melora. In order to fulfill her selfish wishes, he gathers his friends in order to overcome the impossible. Now, everyone knows I'm not big on 3D anime, but this one actually does it right by, not being shit at animation and not trying to ape 2D looks, just sort of giving it its own nice 3D look to it and actually being properly animated. It's pretty cute. Seven Mortal Sins by Artland. Because she committed the sin of pride against God, the great angel Lucifer was cast into hell and became a fallen angel. Also, at the lowest level of hell, the hierarchy of demons have sealed away Lucifer's powers. Lucifer has lost everything, but along with the demon king of envy, Leviathan, that admires Lucifer, and a high school girl she met on Earth named Totsuka Maria, she becomes the demon king of pride, Lucifer, and begins her journey to revenge on the seven demon kings of hell. A book of revelations with the seven deadly sins portrayed by beautiful demon kings is about to begin. The plot is almost 100% about demons, fallen angels, doing some Paradise Lost type shit, but then they managed to wedge a high school girl in there because of anime. Adam the Beginning by Production IG. It's a manga adaptation. Japan in the near future suffers an unexplained major disaster. 5 years later, reconstruction is well underway. Two young researchers at a university are pinning all their hopes on robot development. Now their interpretation of the eternal hero Astro Boy up until his birth is just about to start! ! So it's a prequel to Astro Boy. Could be cool. And Production IG aren't slouches. They'll do it right. U star G star O! V-Rains by Gallop. It's an original Yu-Gi-Oh! In VR on surfboards. And there's a few anime movies here that caught my eye. I don't normally talk too much about the movies. There's a Kuroko's basketball movie called Kuroko's Basketball Last Game. I'm interested in it because I haven't read there's like an after story about them going up against a pro team or something. I don't know. But yeah, so they made a movie out of that. I'm interested to see that. There's two movies that are being done. I think they're both being funded by Netflix. Not 100% on this, but they're definitely both coming to Netflix, I think. And they're both terrible 3D animation. They look just god awful. There's a movie that's adapting Blame, the very famous manga, famous primarily because of how cool it looks. So they've thrown that out the window. And then there's Cyborg 009, Call of Justice, which has had multiple anime adaptations before. There's a really interesting scene about it in that drama Blue Blazes, where the protagonist just geeks out about how well animated everything is in the opening sequence. But he's not going to be doing that for this because it looks fucking terrible. And there's a KyoAni movie called Silent Voice. I wish we had never met. I wish we could meet once again. A boy who can hear, Shoya Ishida, and a transfer student who can't, Shoko Nishimiya. One fateful day, the two meet, and Shoya leads the class in bullying Shoko. But before long, the class shifts its target from Shoko to Shoya. Years later, Shoya feels strongly that he must see Shoko once again. This looks so good. It really does. Doing a thing about someone who is deaf is super interesting to me for a variety of reasons. And then there's two different movies by some production company called Science Saru, and they both look really great. Well, one I'm super hyped for, but Let's first start off with Lou over the wall. Kai, a young middle schooler, lives in Hinashi Town, a lonely fishing village with his father and his grandfather, a sun umbrella maker who he used to live in Tokyo, but after his parents' divorce, he moved back to his parents' hometown. Kai has trouble telling his parents the complicated feelings he has for them, and he's lonely and pessimistic about his school life. One of his joys is uploading songs he writes to the internet. One day, his classmate Kunio and Yuho invite him to join their band Seiren. As he reluctantly follows them to Merfolk Island, their practice spot, they meet Lou, the mermaid girl. Lou sings merrily and dances innocently. As Kai begins to spend time with her, he starts to be able to say what it is he is really thinking. But since ancient times, the people of Hinashi Town have thought that mermaids brought disaster. Something happens that puts a huge rift between Lou and the townspeople, and then the town is in danger. Will Kai's cry from the heart be able to save the town? Question mark. So that's cool, but this is what I'm super excited for. Night is short, walk on girl. A black-haired girl is walking around the streets of Kyoto from the night scene of Pontocho to a secondhand book fair in Shimagamo, then off to a college fair. The main character that has a romantic feeling for her secretly follows her around and looks for the opportunities to run into her in a manner that seems like a coincidence. Unfortunately for him, she is not interested in love yet, so she does not notice his feelings. What awaits these two characters are crazy incidents caused by individuals such as a person who introduces himself as a Japanese mythical creature, Tengu, the god of a secondhand book, or the moneylender in a 3-story vehicle. So this is in this promo, it definitely got some characters from Tatami Galaxy, so it might be a sequel. It definitely has the same visuals, and it's written by the same writer as Tatami Galaxy. So I'm super excited for this because I absolutely adore Tatami Galaxy. It's one of my favorite anime. So I am super hyped to see this. If it probably won't come out this season because it's a movie. I probably won't see it for like a year from now, but I'm going to be completely hype until it comes out.